Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some moments of intimacy stay with a woman for years while others are forgotten by the next morning? Today, I'm going to tell you as a urologist, there's one simple thing you can do during her favorite position that can literally rewire how her body remembers you. And no, it's not about doing anything extreme. It's about doing something smart. Now lean in, because this is where most men get it wrong. I'm speaking to you not as a pickup artist, not as a guy repeating locker room myths, but as a medical professional who understands how nerves, blood flow, muscle response, and psychology all come together during intimacy. Here's the truth. A woman's favorite position isn't her favorite because of how it looks. It's her favorite because of how it makes her feel. And what makes the biggest difference in that position isn't speed, strength, or size, it's control and awareness. Here's what I want you to do. Most men make the same mistake at the exact moment that matters most. The second arousal peaks when her breathing changes, her body tightens slightly, and the energy in the room shifts. His instinct is to speed up, thrust faster, go harder, finish strong. It feels natural, almost automatic. But from a urologist's perspective, this instinct is exactly what cuts pleasure short and turns a potentially unforgettable moment into a forgettable one. Here's why. Female arousal doesn't spike and release the way male arousal does. It builds in waves. When you rush through the peak, you collapse the wave before it crests. Her nervous system needs time to process sensation, safety, and anticipation. When you slow down at the peak, you're not taking pleasure away, you're multiplying it. Slowing down doesn't mean stopping. It means becoming deliberate. Smaller movements, deeper awareness, letting each sensation land before adding the next one. This is where her body starts responding on its own without effort. Her muscles soften, her breath deepens, her mind stops analyzing and starts surrendering. That state is what creates memory, not intensity alone, but sustained intensity. From a medical standpoint, this moment is also critical for you. When you slow your movement and control your rhythm, you gain better ejaculatory control. You stay present instead of tipping into reflex. This isn't about lasting longer for ego, it's about staying connected longer. When you rush, your body takes over. When you slow down, you lead. What most men don't realize is that slowing down communicates confidence. It tells her you're not desperate for the finish line. You're comfortable being exactly where you are. That calm authority relaxes her nervous system, and a relaxed nervous system feels pleasure more deeply. Anxiety blocks sensation. Control amplifies it. This is especially powerful during her favorite position because her body already feels familiar and safe there. By slowing down at the peak, you're layering trust on top of desire. You're telling her without words, I'm paying attention. I'm not using this moment, I'm sharing it. That message sinks deeper than any physical movement ever could. Another key effect of slowing down is anticipation. When stimulation is steady but restrained, her brain fills in the gaps. Dopamine rises. Sensitivity increases. Every touch feels louder. Faster movement dulls sensation over time. Controlled movement sharpens it. Think of it like turning up the contrast instead of flooding the screen with light. And here's the part that most men never hear. Women remember the moment when they felt completely absorbed in their body. When time blurred, when they didn't feel rushed, evaluated, or pressured. That moment almost always comes when a man slows down instead of pushing through. So the next time you feel that urge to speed up, pause, breathe, reduce your movement, stay right there, let the moment stretch. Because when you slow down at the peak, you don't just increase pleasure. You create an experience her body remembers long after the night is over. One of the most overlooked elements of unforgettable intimacy has nothing to do with strength, technique, or anatomy. It's breathing. As simple as that sounds, breathing is one of the fastest ways to shift an experience from purely physical into something deeply connective. And as a urologist, I can tell you this is not poetic advice, it's biology. When a woman becomes deeply aroused, her breathing changes first. It becomes slower, then deeper, then irregular. That shift is not random. It's her nervous system moving out of stress mode and into receptivity. Most men don't notice this because they're focused on their own sensation. But the moment you start paying attention to her breath, you unlock a powerful form of connection. When you consciously match her breathing slow when she slows, deeper when she deepens, you begin synchronizing nervous systems. Heart rate follows breath. Muscle tension follows heart rate. and emotion follows all of it. This synchronization increases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which is responsible for trust, closeness, and emotional imprint. This is why some moments feel unforgettable even when nothing extreme happened physically. From a physiological perspective, matched breathing also keeps you grounded. Men who lose control often do so because their breathing becomes shallow and rapid, pushing the body toward climax reflexively. By breathing deeply and steadily with her, you regulate your own arousal while amplifying hers. This creates a sense of control without force and confidence without tension. There's also something subtle but powerful happening psychologically. When your breath aligns with hers, her subconscious registers that you are present, not distracted, not rushing, not performing, present. That presence tells her nervous system it's safe to let go. Safety is the gateway to deeper pleasure. Without it, the body holds back, even if desire is there. You'll notice that when breathing sinks, movement naturally sinks too. Rhythm becomes smoother. Touch becomes more intentional. There's less need to do and more ability to respond. This responsiveness makes her feel felt. And feeling felt is one of the strongest triggers for emotional memory. Another important factor is silence. When breathing becomes the focus, the room naturally quiets. That quiet amplifies sensation. Every inhale feels louder. Every exhale feels heavier. This sensory focus pulls her mind fully into her body, which is where deep pleasure lies. The brain stops wandering and starts participating. From years of clinical conversations, I can tell you women often describe unforgettable intimacy not by what was done, but by how connected they felt. They say things like, "It felt like he was really there," or "I felt completely in sync with him." Breathing is one of the fastest ways to create that experience without saying a word. So the next time you're in her favorite position, don't just move, listen. Feel her breath. Let your own breathing slow and deepen until it naturally matches hers. Stay there. That shared rhythm turns physical closeness into emotional resonance, and that's the kind of connection her body doesn't forget. One of the biggest misconceptions men carry into the bedroom is the belief that more power automatically equals more pleasure. Stronger thrusts, bigger movements, constant changes in speed and angle. From the outside, it looks confident, but from a urologist's perspective, and from the way the female nervous system actually works, this approach often does the opposite of what you intend. The female body responds far more to consistency than intensity. Pleasure builds through repetition, not shock. When stimulation follows a steady, predictable rhythm, the nervous system relaxes. And when it relaxes, sensitivity increases. That's when deeper pleasure becomes possible. Power without consistency creates stimulation, but it rarely creates immersion. Think of it this way. Her body needs time to recognize a pattern and lean into it. When you constantly change what you're doing faster, slower, harder, softer, you force her brain to stay alert instead of letting go. Alertness interrupts surrender. Consistency invites it. From a medical standpoint, nerve endings respond best when stimulation is sustained rather than erratic. The brain begins to anticipate what's coming next, and anticipation is one of the strongest amplifiers of pleasure. When you maintain a rhythm she responds to, her body doesn't brace itself, it opens. Her breathing deepens. Muscle tension melts. Sensation spreads instead of staying localized. Most men break this rhythm right when it's working. They feel her reaction intensify and assume they need to do more. In reality, this is the moment to do less and stay steady. Consistency tells her body, you're safe here. You don't need to adjust or protect yourself. That sense of safety is not emotional fluff, it's physiological permission for deeper arousal. Consistency also changes how she experiences time. When rhythm is stable, minutes blur together. The mind stops tracking progress and starts floating. This is when pleasure becomes immersive rather than mechanical. Women often describe this state as feeling lost in the moment. And that's exactly the state that makes an experience unforgettable. There's also a direct benefit for you. When you rely on power, your body burns energy quickly and arousal spikes fast. When you rely on consistency, you conserve control. Your movements become efficient instead of forceful. You stay present instead of tipping into reflex. This improves endurance and confidence without strain. Another overlooked aspect is emotional communication. Consistency communicates intention. It says you're not frantic, not insecure, not chasing an outcome. You're choosing the moment and staying with it. That calm decisiveness is deeply attractive and grounding. It makes her feel guided rather than handled. During her favorite position, consistency matters even more because her body already recognizes that angle and sensation as pleasurable. Your role isn't to reinvent the experience, it's to deepen it. When you find what works, stay there longer than your instincts suggest. Let the pleasure layer instead of reset. Power creates impact. Consistency creates memory. Women don't remember how hard it was. They remember how deeply it pulled them in. And that depth comes from steady rhythm, controlled movement, and the confidence to stay right where pleasure lives instead of constantly chasing something new. One of the biggest reasons intimacy falls flat, even when attraction is strong, is because too many men are focused on proving something instead of perceiving something. The ego wants to perform. The body wants to feel. And when ego leads, awareness disappears. From a urologist's perspective, this isn't just a mindset issue. It directly affects arousal, pleasure, and connection. A woman's body is constantly communicating. Long before words, her physiology gives feedback in real time. Her breathing changes. Her hips respond or resist. Her muscles tighten or soften. Her sounds shift in tone and timing. These are not random reactions. They are signals. When you learn to read them, you stop guessing and start responding. Most men miss these signals because their attention is turned inward. They're monitoring their erection, their stamina, their technique, or how they think they're being judged. That internal focus pulls them out of sync. And when you're out of sync, her body senses it immediately, even if she can't explain why. When you shift your attention outward, something powerful happens. You stop trying to impress and start trying to understand. Instead of forcing rhythm, you let rhythm emerge. Instead of deciding what comes next, you wait for her body to show you. That responsiveness makes her feel seen at a physical level, not just an emotional one. From a neurological standpoint, feeling seen reduces resistance in the nervous system. When her body realizes it doesn't need to correct, guide, or adapt to you, it relaxes. Relaxation increases blood flow. Blood flow increases sensitivity. Sensitivity increases pleasure. This chain reaction is why awareness matters more than effort. Reading her body also requires humility. It means accepting that what feels best to you may not feel best to her in that moment. Ego pushes through. Awareness adjusts. If her breath becomes shallow, slow down. If her hips pull you closer, stay there. If her body stills, don't assume boredom. Often that stillness means she's going deeper internally. Another critical point is patience. Her responses don't always happen instantly. Sometimes the signal is subtle and delayed. Men who are rushed miss it. Men who are present catch it. That patience communicates emotional maturity, which is deeply attractive and grounding. Women often describe unforgettable intimacy by saying things like, "It felt like he just knew." That knowing isn't psychic. It's attentive. It comes from watching, feeling, and responding instead of pushing and performing. When your ego quiets down, your sensitivity sharpens. There's also a benefit for you. When you read her body, pressure leaves your own. You're no longer responsible for inventing pleasure. You're simply following it. This reduces anxiety and increases confidence naturally. Confidence built on awareness is far more stable than confidence built on performance. So during her favorite position, let go of the urge to prove anything. Shift your attention to her breath, her movement, her tension, her release. Let her body lead the conversation. Because when a woman feels understood at that level without having to explain herself, that's when intimacy stops being an act and becomes an experience she never forgets. One of the most critical moments in intimacy happens after. Most men think everything is already over. The movement stops, breathing slows, and there's often a quiet pause. Many men mentally check out right here. They roll away, reach for their phone, or emotionally disengage, assuming the experience has already been completed. From a urologist's and physiological perspective, this is a major mistake because this is the moment when the experience is actually locked into memory. The body doesn't immediately return to baseline after sex. Hormones are still flooding the system. Oxytocin, dopamine, and prolactin are all active, especially in women. These hormones determine whether the experience is processed as merely physical or deeply meaningful. What happens in the minutes after intimacy tells the brain how to categorize what just occurred. When you stay connected physically and emotionally you signal safety. Simple things matter here. Remaining close, keeping skin contact, letting your breathing settle together. These cues tell her nervous system, you're not alone now that the intensity has passed. That sense of continuity is incredibly powerful. From a medical standpoint, oxytocin peaks after climax, not during it. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone. It strengthens emotional memory and attachment. When a man disconnects too quickly, the body experiences a sudden drop in connection. While oxytocin is high, which can subconsciously register as emotional absence, when he stays present, that same hormone reinforces closeness and trust. This is why many women say, it wasn't just what we did, it was how he stayed with me afterward. The after phase determines whether the nervous system feels soothed or abruptly abandoned. And this has nothing to do with romance cliches. It's biology. Staying connected doesn't require conversation or performance. In fact, forcing words can break the moment. Calm presence is enough. A hand resting without agenda, a slow breath, a relaxed body. These signals allow her system to fully settle, and when the body settles peacefully, it records the experience as safe and satisfying. This phase also affects how she remembers you specifically. Memory is emotional, not chronological. Her brain will associate the entire encounter with the final emotional state it ends on. If it ends in closeness, warmth, and calm, that's what she remembers when she thinks of you. If it ends in distance or distraction, that's what lingers instead. There's also a benefit for you. Remaining connected helps regulate your own nervous system after climax. Men often experience a sudden drop in arousal and energy. Staying grounded and present prevents that drop from feeling abrupt or empty. It turns release into relaxation instead of withdrawal. Another overlooked aspect is respect. Staying connected communicates that the experience wasn't transactional, that she wasn't just part of a moment, but part of a shared experience. That feeling of being valued after intimacy is what transforms desire into attachment. So when the movement ends, don't rush to end the moment. Stay, breathe. Let your body remain open instead of closing off. Because the way you show up after intimacy is what determines whether she remembers the night as just sex, or as something she carries with her long after it's over. Here's the truth most men never hear. Being unforgettable in bed isn't about how hard or fast you go. It's about how present you are, how well you read her body, and how you stay in sync from start to finish. The moments she remembers aren't the positions, they're the connection, the awareness, and the way you make her feel completely seen and desired. If you want to leave a mark she'll never forget, focus on these three things. Slow down. When it matters, match her rhythm, and stay present, even after the moment ends. That's the difference between ordinary sex and unforgettable intimacy. Now it's your turn. Try this tonight in her favorite position. Pay attention. Breathe together. Respond to every subtle signal. Make her feel truly understood. Do this and she won't just enjoy the night, she'll remember you. If this made sense, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the insider tips that actually work. Share this with a friend who wants to take his intimacy to the next level. Don't just aim to satisfy her, aim to be unforgettable.